Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Sarah Jane from Misunderstood. Now today I have a guest joining me and we will be talking about autism and my new service that I am setting up. For those who haven't watched the video explaining the service, I will put the link below. Basically it's a service that will give funding for children to receive assessments to see why they're struggling academically and not meeting the government's targets, and also if they have challenging behaviour. Hi Richard, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Well, thank you for coming onto my channel today, and we're going to speak about the service that I am setting up for Coventry school children. You are Clr Richard Brown from the Coventry City Council, and we met about 18 months ago, didn't we? And I asked you for help in setting this up, and
I think I was delivering leaflets and knocking doors around your street.
yes,
prior to an election, and we sort of got into conversation, and the conversation then started to talk around autism, and you said, if you do get re-elected, Councillor Brown, I'd quite like your help around moving the agenda forward as regards autism and improving people's awareness about autism. And I said yes. And like all politicians, I deliver on my promises. So
you did.
I am here to help.
Good.
What do you need then, Sarah, with your particular service? What do you see as the next step? What is it that, I mean, it's been good to talk today, and I'm happy to do this again, but how can I help, and what is the next step to get your service going?
To secure the funding, I have to prove to that the service is needed. So I've set up the YouTube channel. The videos will be going onto it as regular as I can. And if I can take a good lot of subscribers to the funding people to say, right, okay, I have like 10,000 subscribers, or I have so many thousand followers on my school struggles page, it's giving them the evidence that this is needed. Or emails, if I was sent an email by as many people as possible to say this service is needed in Coventry. It's needed everywhere, but I can only concentrate on Coventry. So on emails, I'll put the email contact below. Subscribe to my channel. Everybody subscribe. Comment, leave comments of like put what people's views are. I can take all that evidence. I can then start up a social enterprise, and all profit will go to funding children in education, whether they're being homeschooled or in school. Even if the children, because we've got 60,000 in UK homeschooled, you know, so, you know, okay. It's needed. But emails, messages, I will just send them all to the funding bodies. So you did have a special interest in autism because of your grandson.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's fair to say that I've always been aware of the word autism. I don't think I've really had a great understanding of what it is and how it affects people and how it affects people's lives until my grandson came along, who has been diagnosed with autism, and he does get some help. He's going through. So we started his schooling now, but it was really with him having to go through some assessments and trying to understand what autism was about. You can try and read things on the internet, you can try and read some books, etc. But to be able to sort of talk to somebody who's been through this and understand how autistic people, and particularly sort of children, how they view the world,
yeah,
is something that I struggle to understand. But the more I learn about this, I wouldn't say it sort of get easier, but it's being able to sort of cope and help him go through stuff, because it's not an illness. I understand that it's a condition, but he's a beautiful little boy that just sees the world in a different way.
So before you understood autism, because society actually see it as a mental health condition, don't they? But it's not. It's not a mental health condition. Did you view it as that as well before you realised what autism was?
If I'm really honest, probably yes. I don't think I thought about it all that much, but you hear that word autism and you hear terms like ADHD and dyslexia and stuff. But because it doesn't sort of impact you on a day-to-day basis, you sort of park those terms away and get on with stuff.
Yeah.
But it's when you're dealing with it every single day, and you realize that he will not react to things the way that I would react, or you would think I hate to use the word, but sort of a normal person would react to it, then it sort of makes you think about things in a different way. And it's trying to understand why he reacts to certain things in certain ways, because if you don't understand it, you can take some wrong options here, can't you?
Yeah. And I think it's that word normal, and I know that's what but who says your neurotypical person's normal? The autism person might be normal. What is normal? If you don't fit into the box that society puts you in, someone with autism will not go into that box. You know, and that's why they come across with being told they've got difficult behaviours. No, they have got difficult behaviours. They're not just going to conform to what you said, what you tell me to do.
I know we'll get there with him eventually, but it's understanding why he's like that, and being able to adapt your approach. And he is just a joy to be with. He really is. But I think that the other thing is the more I've learned about, and I've learned a lot from you about what these conditions mean, is I started to re-examine my own children. And I think when I look back, there are probably elements in some of them that would probably feature on the autistic scale. And actually, when I look back at myself, if I'm being brutally honest, I think there are things, the way that I view life and do things, that some people may decide that is on the autistic scale. And I think the more I've learnt about this, the one thing that really hits me is that we do not put enough time and effort and resources in early diagnosis with this. We try, but we just don't. I think politically, as a nation, we don't give it enough priority.
No.
And my humble opinion is that I think we ignore this problem for too long, and kids have to go through this school life struggling with this condition and not understanding it and not getting the support that they deserve.
Yeah.
And I think there are issues of isolation and self-esteem that gradually build up through that young person's life that manifest itself in greater problems in adult life, because you don't just reach a certain age of 16 and then this problem doesn't exist. It's with you forever.
Yes, I think this service is massively needed for school children. You know, even if you are struggling with your education, if you are not meeting your targets, as they say, there's a problem. So what is the problem? Let's find the problem. They don't find the problem. They can't find the problem because they haven't got the money to send the kids for these assessments to find out what their problem is, what the difficulty is. I mean, the thing is, it's a developmental issue. It's a developmental problem. So the child has got to get to that developing milestone. And then if they haven't reached that milestone, then we have to start looking. And that's why it's so hard to diagnose at a young age.
Yeah. Now, you see, I didn't know any of this stuff until I met you, effectively. And one of the great things you've been able to do is to explain all this stuff to me. But you've also helped me understand a lot of the things and the way that he looks at the world.
Yeah.
And actually, the more I learn about this, the more wide I'm starting to understand that the autism spectrum is. So I think I wonder, I do think that sort of when this thing occurs, that there is a gap there in terms of where do I go for help? Where do I go to learn more about this and to sort of help my understanding of all this? And I think, I'll be honest, I think that's where I really enjoyed talking to you, because I think you've been able to explain a lot of that stuff and make sense of it to me.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for talking.
It's been a pleasure.
Right.
And we'll talk again.
See you later.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.